Welcome back on the AM show. As promised, we are delivering this morning, and we have joining us in the studio. Well, he's been a part of that Galamsey watchdog in the past, but currently he's in the fray, hoping to become the Member of Parliament for Esikado Ketan. He's in the person of Charles Bissue. Joins me in the studio this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Wherever you got your blazer from, you may have to investigate. I may need to. But good to have you join.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your constituency, where you've got the nod from the MPP, Esikado Ketan. What are the latest happenings there? This constituency has its own dynamics. What is happening in Esikado Ketan?
Okay, good morning, my brother, and good morning to your listeners. Yeah, Esikado Ketan actually was carved out of the Sekondi and Kwesimintim. It was then Efia Kwesimintim constituencies. But currently it is the biggest constituency in the metropolis. It has a population of about 140,000 people. About 51% are women. And then it also has a lot of industries. After Takrady, Takrady has the harbour and stuff like that. But Esikado Ketan holds the Free Zones Board, Esipon Stadium. So there's a lot happening. It's a rural-urban community. The voting populace there is about 71,000, and I'm hoping that after this limited registration exercise, we're going to increase it to maybe, we have our targets, but we just wait and see.
What is your target?
I wouldn't say it here, because...
why not?
No, there are certain things that are internal, because the target, if I say the target, I have a target, then...
You have a personal target?
Yes, I do. But then if I come out to say, then it means that I'm the EC. EC has its target. I know there's about 600,000 across the country. By the last elections, I believe Esikado Ketan registered more than any constituency in the region. You understand? So I will stick to the EC's, what the EC is doing. We don't have to interfere in what they're doing. But as a political party, we are beneficiaries to that. My goal is that following the registration exercise, I go out there to preach what my party has done, articulate it well, where we've actually gone wrong, state it, because I believe that the Ghanaian populace are discerning now. Gone were the days where...
They're discerning now?
Very.
They've not been discerning before?
No. If I say discerning, it's not like they weren't knowledgeable, but the access to information. Formally, globalization has made the world a global village, where at the fingertips you can get information instantaneously. Hitherto, getting information was difficult. For example, if I have to send information to somebody, I have to drive to the lorry station at Kaneshi, pass on a letter to somebody, you know what I mean? But today, you can actually grab information instantaneously. So if I say that, then it means that people are knowledgeable now that the things that we say can be verified, and then they can actually make an informed decision on that. So if you're going to speak to people pertaining to what is transpiring in the country, then you must be upright with them, tell them where you've gone wrong, where you've gone right, and what can be done about it. Then you're having a conversation. And then also, the whole thing about this 2024 elections, it's about breaking the 8, isn't it? But then no political party has done that. We've always said that, the psychology of the Ghanaian voter is that every 8 years, we have to change power, which is good, because my friends from the diaspora, other African countries say that Ghana's democracy has deepened. This is the only country that we actually change governments and all that without hindrance.
But that merely is not democracy. That there's way more to it than just handing over peacefully in elections. You are fully aware of that.
What do you mean by that?
The mere fact that you roll over from one administration to the next over a period of 8 years, that in itself is not what cements a democracy. There are governance processes, good governance processes, rule of law, the fight against corruption, the fact that jobs are, all those things.
Transparency, the United Nations characteristics.
So in other words, human security versus or vis-a-vis national security in that perspective. Okay. That's basically what I'm saying.
So are you referring to the United Nations characteristics of good transparency and all that?
Not necessarily the United Nations, but even the newer developments in what it means to have a good economy, to experience good governance.
Good governance, it's all part of that, those characteristics. I think there's 7 or 17 of them, which every government has to take. But they are looking at handing over peacefully. So that's subjective. Somebody will say and look at all those characteristics and tick the boxes. Probably it is in the Western world where we actually got democracy from. You know, we got it from there, replicating it here, but does it pertain to our dynamics? No, I don't think so. So we're evolving.
Right.
So through evolution, we do things abreast to time. So the American system, the British system and all that, they're there. They're an established one. That fits the citizenry. But we've probably replicated it wrongly. So I think that we have to evolve.
You think we've replicated democracy or that practice wrongly, and we need to streamline it contextually?
Yes, because if you, for example, if you go to America, they don't have the monarchy. They don't have the chieftaincy institution. We had the chieftaincy institution, and then democracy was actually brought to us. So you have to marry the two. Their constitution, Article 270 to 277, has been given to the chiefs. So the roles are demarcated, but fusing or marrying them together sometimes gives us problems. You know what I mean? As opposed to the United Kingdom, where they have the monarchy, the king being the head of state, and it works for them because they replicated it pertaining to their culture and norms. Our customary law doesn't allow certain things, but then the constitution has been brought to us. You know what I mean? Democracy has been brought to us. So but we are evolving. So as we go along, because certain laws were passed in 1900, and then they updated, repealed, and then moved forward. That's what I'm saying. So as a people, we're going forward. So I'm concluding on that by saying that if I'm going to go for vote, I'm not going to tell the person, lie to the person. Where there are difficulties, you need to tell the person and explain it to the person.
Which brings me to a crucial point, because the belief on the streets is that all politicians are by and large liars. And in contesting for the Esikado Kitansi, are you saying that you were above the board, honest in everything that you said? Because parliamentarians, those gunning for those positions, usually start by lying. Okay. I'll put up this road, and parliamentarians don't build roads. I'll do this, I'll do that. You start by lying.
Okay, so you see, saying politicians are liars, I disagree. Each and everyone.
I said that on the streets.
On the streets,
that is the perception.
So the official's bystander. Okay, so the official's bystander might be wrong, because you see, everyone comes from an individual home. We're brought up differently, and then we come into the world of politics, where you're nurtured from your school and all that, and then people get into politics, and then without experience and all that, they do certain things. They think that politics is like that. But you need to be consistent. In the same realm, you go to the pastors, they're fake pastors. They're fake bank managers, you understand?
But so, it appears in politics there are a lot more of the
no, because politics is in the wider space.
I see.
You understand? But we have individual, I've heard of stories where a pastor has gone to exhume skeletons and then planted it in front of somebody's church so that they will destroy the church. That's a human being. So I look at the person as a human being rather than a politician. But in totality, because the state's resources has been entrusted to the politician, so you have to guard it well.
Which brings to mind, just yesterday I was having a conversation with a member of parliament.
Okay.
And the member of parliament was lamenting to me openly, in confidence, that, and of course I can't mention the person's name, but that, look, sometimes you are in party X, right? But you disagree with the positioning of the party on this or that. You can't express that disagreement. You'll be whipped in line. And if you don't fall in line, you know what awaits you. Consequences when you go for your next primary. You will be sabotaged. And I've had countless members of parliament tell me that because I was in disagreement on this and that. Look, even when some members of parliament were railing against the president on some things, they had palpable fears that, you know, there would be consequences. And if you look at the last primaries, there were consequences for some of them. So in other words, you want to become a member of parliament. You are setting yourself up to not be able to exercise your conscience. You are setting yourself up to lie, so to speak.
Okay. So you see, I'll come back to the first question where you said we have to lie to make a weight and then gain the votes of the populace. But, you know, in the church, where there's an issue of adultery, the pastors do not come out and say openly that this person is an adulterous person, do they? Because we're building a society. It is dealt with at the back end, you understand? And people are forgiven and all that. But however, in politics, there are laws. The state resources have been bequeathed to you to actually take care of it. So you have a higher responsibility. Now, within the government, when the e-levy was introduced, I was for it, but I wasn't for the amount that we were charging.
Percentage.
Yes, I wanted us to maybe 50 per one city or something. I've forgotten about it. But I'm a communicator for the party. I came out there and said, no,
Later it was brought down to 1%.
Exactly. So I thought that it could be progressive, maybe 50 pesos, and then you increase it gradually so that it doesn't have a telling effect on the Ghanaian. So that was my point. But then the government wants it. So we went out there and we did it. It doesn't mean that I have to go out there and chastise my government. You understand? Yes. But there are ways of doing it. That's why I use the church as an example. Now, why am I in politics? If I'm going out there to lie to people, I have my children, my family, and all that. For example, I'm related to Sechi Hughes. Okay. He's my uncle, my great uncle. I'm related to Koshiga, Park Grant and all that. The things that they've done in the past has actually paved way for me.
It's reflected on you.
Exactly.
And the things you are doing will also reflect
Exactly. So it's a generational thing. So there's a lot on me to actually ensure that I leave a good name. There are ways people go into politics for three things that I know of. One, to make money. The others, to impact on society. And the others, for people to serve them. It happens in our society. I am for going to serve, you understand, to make a name as well. Yes, when you become a member of parliament, you'll be privileged. You understand? There are certain privileges that will come to you that you cannot deny it. Nobody will get out there and say that I'm serving and there will not be a privilege, even though you get paid. I mean, maybe the salary is not enough. But I'm not talking about privileges in terms of money and stuff like that. The state has put you there. So what do? You serve as it is, you understand? Okay. If you go out there with the premise of making money and other things, then you're exposed. That is when you meet the delegates, then you have to lie to them to ensure that you garner it. And we've had situations where people have won, become a member of parliament, and they don't sit in parliament. During the day, they have to go look for money, business and all that to actually satisfy other people.
And that's where you're headed, because you have to satisfy, you have to placate the different constituents.
Let me give you
there are those who will come for you. I even heard this hilarious one where someone was putting up a building and came to the MPO foundation, apart from
coffin and all that,
school fees and funerals and health.
Coffin, you buy coffin and all that.
You buy coffin.
People do that. So you see,
have you had to buy anything yet?
If the person is related to me and they're struggling, I will support you. You understand? If I have it. But what I'm trying to say that we as leaders, we need to educate the people as well. You see, most of the psychology, you see the Ghanaian politics, that's why I'm saying that we replicated democracy. In the past, when we used to campaign with Nivea and all that, the ladders and all that. Imagine a pupil teacher within a community when he was a local person with us. Right. And then within a twinkle of an eye, there's democracy. And the next day he's a member of parliament. And then you've given them a Land Cruiser and all that. And the neighbors know how the humble beginnings that the person has. And then all of a sudden the person has become pompous and all that. Then they think that, yes, there's some money somewhere, you understand? So they start demanding, and it puts pressure on you. And you need to sustain where you are, because you never want to go down again. You know what I mean? So what happens? Then you have to use other routes to actually make money, you understand? But if you believe in what you're doing and you're consistent, you must find ways of actually managing those things.
So tell me, very briefly, because I want to manage time so that we can do as much as possible. You have heard of the reports in the past, if you want to become a president in Ghana, you need $100 million plus. If you want to become an MP, you need so many millions of cedis. You must have a war. Oh, these are reports that we've had from distinguished, reputable groups, across the world on Ghana, right? So you must have a war chest with quite a bit of money, because you want to go toe to toe with other parties, including the NDC, for the Esikado Ketan seat. Okay,
so let me tell you this. I would define what you've said as being resourceful. You understand?
Being resourceful.
Resourceful, yes. Because if you can have $100 million in your room and it gets into the political terrain, one person can actually drain you of that cash and you will not win power. But being resourceful, for me, my definition is that having an available human resource, knowing that person that sells pure water, knowing that person that has a venue, you understand? So all these coming together, these are human beings bringing their resources to you, and the human resource as well. So by putting that in, you have the human resource as well, and that we counted into votes. So I don't believe you having a stash of cash.
So it's not about money.
No, because somebody will come and sponsor.
Because our politics, even those on the ground, some of them will tell you it's about money. If you don't pay, I'm not voting.
No,
I've heard delegates say that.
Yes, people have said it. I remember in 2010, I went for primaries in Nahanta West because my dad is a Nahanta. And then I said, I'm not going to take my salary as a member of parliament, which I've said. Okay. Then this person said, at the time, I think the MPs were being paid 7,000 cedis. Well, and then I think they had 630 delegates. And then whilst I was talking, the guy calculated it. And he said, so 4 years in parliament, this is how much, I think 1,500 cedis or so. And he said, I want my money now. And I said, why? He said, I don't trust you politicians, so I'm going to take my money now and vote for you. You know what I mean? So that's the trust bit. I've been consistent. Going to Ketketen, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use that money as a welfare system for the delegates of the party. The common fund and all that, which is not huge, takes care of the larger populace, you understand? But for the party people, for you to curb these things, you need to have certain welfare things for them. That would actually put them certain things to rest.
And your consolidated fund money, sometimes it will delay, and even when it comes, it will not be enough. It's very small, so how are you going to manage?
Okay, so you see, you need to be innovative, you understand? For example, I've got students...
I guess you're going to tell me again that you need to be resourceful.
No, innovation, for me, the private sector is the engine of growth. And I combine business with politics, you understand? So, for example, I was a regional secretary for 8 years. Right, I managed my own affairs. I wasn't paid for 8 years, but I was able to take care of a lot of people in the region. For example, passports. I did it free of charge for over 700 people, you understand? So you have to have your businesses and all that so that you can do this
free
thing.
For 800 people?
Yes, I did. They won't be up to it because...
You're not a passport agent. So
no, I pay for them. You know
for them.
You know when they do the... when we went digital, you filled out on the system and all that, and then I pay for it.
These people.
I think it was 50 cedis then. Right. You understand? But 8 years I wasn't paid, but I managed to do certain... There were other things that I did for certain people. You see, so it's not actually...
So 50 cedis for 800 people, that's about 40,000 cedis, right? Let me
yes. But I've done other things like buying desks for school children and all that to sit on. And then I remember when I was doing this, somebody said, we have to put your name on it.
Yeah,
and I
40,000.
said, yes. And then another time I spent about 100,000 buying desks for school children. And then somebody said he was going to put my name on it. And I said, I don't want to do that.
So all of this out of pocket? You've been doing this as a way of supporting your community?
Exactly.
But let me quickly get to this. And that's amazing stuff you're doing. We all ought to chip in. But members of parliament, right, even before I get there, you spoke about right or wrong.
Yeah.
The fact that as a leader, you must admit, I mean, when you've done the right thing, yes, but when you do the wrong thing, you must be able to admit it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Why is your party then not admitting some of the basic difficulties we're facing as a country? Take Dumso, for example. The slap in the face of, oh, there's no Dumso, it is Dumsiesi. Oh, if you want a load shedding timetable, then you are wishing evil upon the land. I'm sure you've heard of who said that. The Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. The talk on May Day, just a few days ago, May the 1st, Workers' Day, Dumso has ended, according to President Akufo-Addo.
Yeah.
Just a few days ago, I had it. People in different places. Why is it so difficult for the MPP, your party, to admit that things are not the best and to admit in some situations like Dumso that there is Dumso?
So
what is the difficulty?
You've used Dumso as an example. I haven't heard...
I could say so many things.
Yes.
Let's stay with
Dumso. So I haven't heard anybody saying everything's rosy in this country. You remember when we used to say...
No, but that's not the question. Is there Dumso or not?
So I'm giving a preamble before I answer the question, you see. Because so when we started, people mentioned COVID and then Ukraine. And then some of your colleagues are saying that we shouldn't mention, but it's a fact. 2 weeks ago...
It's a fact for all other countries in the world.
Exactly. In the UK, there was recession. Last week, the British Prime Minister said the economy has been affected by COVID and the Ukraine and the Russia war. That's fine. So everything is not rosy in this country. There are difficulties. If the president says that Dumso has ended, it means that things are being done.
Let's be clear. When the president said he said that as of that day, there was no Dumso anywhere.
Okay.
In fact, while he was speaking, there was doomsday in some places. The very next day, there was doomsday, and it has continued till now.
So,
Herbert Krapper, the ECG boss, not the ECG boss, the board chair, had said that, within a few days, it would be over. This was before Mr. President spoke.
So
it's been more than 10 days since.
So after that, has it been nationwide? Has the doomsday been? Because I remember about a month ago, there was total black.
In Eastern, in Central,
but there are pockets.
So I don't know what you mean by nationwide. Up north, people are still complaining.
Yes, and even in Accra, some areas there were. The lights were out. But I'm saying that things have been worked on. You understand? And these are pockets of them. It's not nationwide because a month ago or so, we can hear that the whole of Takrady was down. You understand? Then there was a problem. And then the president came out and said that no exportation of energy to the neighboring countries because we used to sell. So I think that that's leadership because
which I do not agree with, but it has.
No, but then if you have energy crisis in your own country and then
whatever happened to excess energy, excess supply?
So if you allow me to finish with this, because something has to be done about it, and he comes out to say that yes, we're in crisis, so we're not going to export outside of this country. Let's conserve what we have to deal with the problem before we start exporting. That's leadership for me.
You know the consequences of that, right?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay, so first off, you're looking at the likes of Burkina Faso and others, which have now had to say, in fact, they are facing a crisis of their own because of our shortages. And so they are saying, okay, we have to find alternative means. Do you know what that means? They find other suppliers. Eventually, they leave you, and what you are getting from them, you lose that market. Nigeria, for example, is getting ready to supply to some of these other entities. It means you lose some of the hard currency.
So so that's opportunity cost. So would you rather have your citizenry suffer than to please other people?
It's not about
so the consequence
balance. But in finding that balance, where have the failures been such that you cannot meet the megawatt requirements of your country? Because mind you, throughout this Fourth Republic, as far back as Rawlings, we've been supplying to some of these.
You know what I would do as a manager?
It's not like
you see
a novelty that we started from.
Okay, so I get you as a manager. If something like that happened, and I think that's what the president has done, I would ensure that whatever I have in my country is conserved. And then there's competition out there. You're saying Nigeria, and then other countries want to supply to them. When I'm coming back to have supply energy, I would actually try and penetrate again by reducing prices so that they take mine and then later on increase.
Do you know the problem with that analysis?
What's the problem?
I hear from what we are taking from them, partly because our power seems to be more stable, at least historically. They pay a steep price. The price differential is about 1 to 4. The Nigerians are offering it to them about a quarter of what they are paying now. I know that.
Yes.
So which means you're probably not going to be able to apply that because a factor of 1 is to 4.
Yeah.
You can't possibly.
But bro,
Nigeria is.
Okay, but with this conversation, do we even know the contract between us and them? As to when we're in crisis, what happens and all that? So it becomes a problem of a privity of contracts. You understand? So the two of us haven't seen that. You understand? But I am saying that in times of crisis, the president comes out to say that we're not going to export. For example, if there's a pandemic and we have vaccines, and you say we supply vaccines to other countries, and your people are died, are you going to say because there's going to be consequences thereafter?
So that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying the balance in there and losing the market completely. That is something we ought to keep an eye on.
We need to look at that.
This is based on intel we've got from Burkina Faso and other countries that we supply to. So if you lose it totally, then what I mean.
But I'm sure that's not going to happen. The president will look at that.
But let's also look at a point. And I noted some of the things you said, right and wrong. That's why I posed the question about being honest and facing it when you failed somewhere, or at least you've not met expectations.
Yes, but by coming out to say that, yes, we're dealing with it, don't let it go out there, and let's conserve it here. It's actually saying that there's a challenge.
It's only on May Day that I actually heard the president use doomsday. But even then, it wasn't so fixated on now. But everybody in Ghana knows what doomsday.
But you're playing with words.
Let's make tracks. You also said, I am for going to serve, right?
Yes.
You have served before on the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, and then everything from Paul Boateng to now the OSP. What's the latest as far as the special prosecutor and his dealings with you are concerned?
So I wouldn't delve into what is in court already, but I took the special prosecutor to court, you understand? First of all, whatever happened wasn't true, you understand?
Wasn't true?
No.
What wasn't true?
The video, you know. Anas coming in to do that video, I think I've always said it time and time again that I'm going to delve into the matter until...
Which video are you referencing? The one you were in?
Yes.
Or that was not you?
Oh, come on. That was me, you understand?
Right.
But you can sit here and take videos and actually put them together, and you understand, and project it to be yours. We're in court. We're going to look into all of that. I don't want to actually delve into it, but the police exonerated me. The special prosecutor, who is a friend of Anas, they own the same law firm, you understand? So
the special prosecutor is a friend of Anas, and so you are drawing linkages that they are cooking something against you. Is that what you're insinuating?
I respect the office of the special prosecutor. Okay, it's a creation of our laws. You understand? But I would not sit in this country as a citizen for people to use offices. You understand? Or positions that are given to them to suppress others. That is not going to happen.
Do you know what you're suggesting?
No.
You're suggesting that our ombudsman, well, in this case, a special prosecutor, is somehow in cahoots or conniving with someone who has beef against you, someone who put out an expose against you, and for that reason they are coming after you.
You can explain it in that matter.
Okay, so clarify for me. Is that what you're saying?
No, you want a headline from me. You'll not get one. So let's carry on.
It's not a headline. It's about the opportunity of clarifying.
And,
is that what you're saying?
So if you allow me...
You've literally said it. You've virtually said it.
No. If you allow me to flow,
right,
then you get actually the gist of what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that I will not sit in this country for people to use offices and all that to suppress people's rights. Okay. Number two, the video that was seen out there, was something that was put together. And all this would be, yes, you understand, nobody took bribes. In that office, they do not issue licenses. So first of all, you must understand what happens there before you go out to do that video. Whoever was behind it and all that, you understand, we know. But
what happens there? What happens
in the office?
Know what happens
okay,
there.
So the Interministerial Committee was an amalgamation of ministries. We have the Minerals Commission, which is under Lands Ministry, EPA, and all that. Okay, so when in the manifesto, the president stated that he's going to restructure the artisanal and small-scale mining sector. You understand? And so all these ministries were put together, and the various agencies that are connected to mining, EPA, Water Resources Commission, and all that. And then we did a vetting of all licenses, because hitherto, one license owns about 5 concessions, and there was bureaucracy here and there. So our job was to actually clean up the system. Now, we came up with something called Stop, which is a system which actually is like a one-stop shop where application processes and all that. So we see who is delaying the process so that monies are not paid. The law says that, I think the application process, 3 months at the Minerals Commission, or 3 months and then 6 months at the ministry. So the laws actually, spelling these out. We came out with a sticker, you understand, that once everything has gone through, there's a sticker that you scan and it gives you everything that encompasses your license. Then somebody comes there, trying to do their own thing, saying that they've paid money. Who in this country, will take bribes and ask you to go and pay money and then take receipts? That video was put together. Eventually, we're going.
It was fabricated.
Yes, and Anas is a liar. I'm telling you, I'll say it 100 times. I am saying, I'm looking into your eyes. He's a liar, and I'll expose that.
But the matter you say is in court. So why are you attacking his person?
Because
now,
that's
when the court.
I'm not delving into what is in court. I'm delving into what he has done. You understand? They've done it to so many people in this country, and I will ensure that that does not happen.
Do you think, though, with everything going on with the special prosecutor inviting you, that, he shouldn't invite me, restrain him, and everything in between, do you think it's putting a dent on your chances of becoming the member of Parliament?
No. I think it's actually unearthing the truth about what has been happening in this country. You understand? It's unearthing the truth, and a lot more will come out. We're in court, we'll finish with it, and then Ghanaians will know the truth, who is lying and who's not. And on all I'm saying that, in this country, where somebody, for example, a police officer, chief inspector, and you don't like somebody, and then Friday you report to the person that the person has threatened to kill me. and then they go, they arrest the person, put the person in cells over the weekend, and Monday he's released. Then you've tainted that. So all these things should be a thing of the past.
But you know what's interesting? You say it was work put together, all of you, including the Ministry for Environment, which at the time was headed by Professor Frimpong Boateng, remember? And his reports and all of that seemed to suggest that some of these things were indeed...
But he never mentioned my name in the report.
With corruption.
But he never mentioned my name.
But he does mention the Interministerial Committee and others.
But I'm saying that I was a secretary.
Right.
Prof never mentioned my name, did he? No, you can't. There's nothing, no.
But your outfit was mentioned.
Yeah, but then, you see, he came up with this report. You know, I left the office in 2019, and I stepped aside. I wasn't sacked, you understand? I stepped aside for investigations to be carried out, you understand? I'm not sure how many people have done this in this country, stepping aside and have it, and then investigate it. Probably I had the opportunity of staying there for them to investigate it. But I said, no, I do not want it, you understand? So I'm just saying, I'm very clean, you understand? And then being clean alone is not enough. Those behind it, okay, being exposed is important to me so that it doesn't happen to other people.
Okay, what do you think about the ravages of Galamsey? It's going from bad to worse. Things are really problematic now, since you've worked in that space.
No, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say things are problematic. It's a two-way thing, you understand? The citizenry and us, you understand? So the laws are there for us to follow. The rules are there for us to follow. Are we going to abide by them? That's the thing so we need to work on the psychology of the people. But I think that the programs where the Ministerial Committee came up with a roadmap and all that, all these are being implemented by the ministry. For example, where we have to do geological survey, okay, to ascertain the quantum of minerals beneath the surface of the earth. And that makes that concession credible so that we can access finances from the bank. Because you know what? Most of the foreigners, I know there's a report where people from China come into the country, they take $25 from the banks, come into the country, and then enter into our small-scale mining sector. But the law says the small-scale mining sector is the preserve of Ghanaians. You understand? But so why would a foreigner come from their own country, get access to finance?
I should be asking you that.
No, yes, so have access to finance and then delve into it. So the roadmap and on all these things. So now there's a solution. We check the quantum of minerals beneath the surface of the earth. You go to the bank, there's a credibility out there, you're credit worthy to access funds to do that.
We have to go, but I'll give you 20 seconds, final words.
Okay, so
you can speak to your constituents.
Okay, yes. So to the people of Iskadikaten, like I said, I'm ready to serve. I'm an indigene. I've been consistent with the people of the Western region, working 8 years as the regional secretary. I helped the party to gain power, 8 seats, maintain power, and I said I'm not contesting again. And people can go back and check my history there. Coming into Iskadikaten, there are a lot of resources there, natural resources, human resources, and all that. We're not going to depend on government alone. We know that the private sector is an engine of growth. So we are going to actually work together, ensure that people are working in the private sector so that we do not always depend on us. Okay. Together, I think we can do it.
Mr. Bissue, thank you so much for coming, and we wish you the very best
thank you.
As you target that seat right before...